This week, on the Aviator Show, the team wraps up their 6 weeks of travel classes and summer air shows.
$7 breakfast special right here.
I'm going for that tomorrow morning.
We'll produce a full recap, so like and subscribe to stay tuned for that action later on. Most of the instructors and team have made it back to Florida, and Eric's got a big announcement to make.
$100 in it for the winner. All right?
Oh, it's been set.
$100 for the winner. Hello and welcome, my name is Eric Fairwell, and today we're making a video about some different things. But first, we're out here at the go-kart track with the Aviator team, just having some fun, doing some together this time, and trying something different. But today's video is about something you all need to understand, and that is about pilot growth and development. As you are a pilot coming into the sport, you gotta realize that you can always be learning, you can always be growing and always doing more. So we jumped on board with a couple of our Aviator alumni who've been flying for a year or two and just kind of went into what their next step was. For some it's thermaling, for some it's PPG-3, for others it's strike transitions or getting their tandem certification. These guys wanted to jump into the deep end, literally, into SIV. Enjoy the video.
So this is day one. This is T-minus 5 minutes.
This is probably the sketchiest thing I've ever done and paid for. Yeah, before the SIVs even started, it's gotten pretty wild. Yesterday was nerve-wracking. I had never been up there in a paragliding harness with 30 miles an hour winds on speed bar on a 21-meter wing. So we'll see what happens today. Hopefully we get up there and it's not as crazy as it was yesterday because we lost one guy in the swamp and I landed in the water.
Just a day before our cameras arrived, the guys went up to test the air with extremely high winds. Nevada's face here says it all.
I always had a fear of, hey, engine out, where am I going to land? And is it going to be successful? Will I undershoot, overshoot based on winds and conditions? And first tow up was right here the other day, and they got me up 2,000 feet. They had me pin off, and I just went sailing. It was a perfect start to the weekend. I'm about to get wet. Landed in some water, and but we survived, and it was that definitely checked the box for me in the back of my mind. So I'm sure it's going to happen sometime again, and that was a real confidence builder for me.
I've got about 219 flights after last night at Bob's. Man, I tell you what, my first tow up felt like my first flight ever though, man. Exactly like my first flight. I was extremely nervous. There was a lot of stuff going on. I was on a wing I didn't know about. The winds were crazy. I'm being towed by a rope. There's a boat pulling me. Just so many new variables that it's like the first time you flew. You can have 200, 600, 500 flights, whatever, but the first time you take an SIV or the first time you tow up, you might as well be your first flight all over again. So those first flight nerves are here, and yeah, they're not going anywhere for now.
Here we have Brian Waller, James Sutherland, and now we're just waiting for PPG Trucker, or Scott, to get here.
Yeah, Trucker's here. So we got the whole crew, and we're gonna go out there and hopefully let this fog burn off and then get some tows in if things go well.
The next step is what I consider the most dangerous part of this trip, jumping on board these two speedboats.
Can I come on this one?
Secret LZ. Yeah.
Yeah, so right here is where Nevada went down. Right over here, I believe right here. And this was like the only spot he could get because if you look, there's trees and some branches everywhere. It's kind of flat there, so he was able to land. But it looks like ground, but it's mostly water and marsh. And so it might look like a place to land, but it ain't really any better than the water, but hey, let's do it.
Us mountain folk don't get this a lot.
Break the chain, break the chain, break the chains. I've been trying to find a way to break the chains. Saying, it be strange, it be strange, it be strange. I've been trying to find a way to make a change. Break the chain, break the chain, break the chains. I've been trying to find a way to break the chains.
Listen to that motor.
So I gotta find a way to break the chains. I'm saying, man, it's strange cause my brain's overstrained and I gotta find a way to make a change. Yeah, do I rewind it? Do I grind it? Or just, what? Keep bustin' like how I'm bossing on them? Or just fall back cause should've forced it on them? Nah, I should apply the pressure. Why? Cause we got the power if you look and measure. Start it up, I told you start it up, yeah. I gotta change me, can you blame me? I gotta.
Can you not hear it?
What happened?
I do. Glider locked up.
Break the chain, break the chain, break the chains. I've been trying to find a way to break the chains. So I get up, ain't got rid of my fears, yo. Time to be a true man. Ain't got time for tears, yo. Only time for big biz. Watch out.
It really doesn't.
Dude, like I want to cry right now. I'm hurting right now. Like I'm emotional, I'm stressed out, and it wasn't even me. And it's my buddy, and I'm serious. This kind of got me worked up.
Show 'em that we serious. Then I told 'em, wow, man, you know I like my style, kind of wild. And I think that's really how you.
We'll do an interview later. How about that?
It is a little difficult to hear.
It's difficult to hear, yes.
I didn't hear that. Which?
Alright, this time I want you to reach up. We're going to do the horseshoe. So grab the inside A's and put them in one hand and climb them like a rope. And keep pulling them down. Climb them like a rope and pull them down. The inside A's. Grab them, put them in one hand and pull them all the way down. Come on, hand over here.
Break the chain, break the chain, break the chains. I've been trying to find a way to break these chains. Trying to find a way to break these chains. Trying to find a way to break these chains. Trying to find a way, trying to find a way. Let's go. Put it in my mind that this shit's mine. I ain't relaxing till I'ma go get it. That's on my fam, homie. That's what they got. Yeah, I know I'm the best. You just gotta admit it. Bet they love me when I'm gone. Ain't it's up to my home. I'ma take this till I break this and I'll make this to my throne.
So today, it already started out really high anxiety because yesterday we had lost a couple guys in the water. And this morning we were all high anxiety, nervous. The weather wasn't great. We didn't know what kind of tow we were gonna get. We were in a new location this morning. So nerves were high, and then the day started out kind of tough. So we had a couple of guys go right in the water on tow, and kind of tough to see our wingmen go down like that, but you know, this is a big learning situation. Luckily the weather improved and we got to get up and a bunch of tows for everybody. So the real part of this SIV really kicked off this afternoon, and we were able to get up there and do full frontal collapses, asymmetric collapses, big ears, B stalls, horseshoe, the whole gamut of just awesome maneuvers and the things that allow us to become more confident in flight. And I'll say I am way more confident in these wings. These wings are, they're not fragile. They're your best friend up there, and this SIV course has made it clear to me that your wing is your best friend, and if you depend on it and you're confident in it and you're trained on it, it's going to take care of you up there. So I couldn't recommend this anymore. If you thought your first flight was exciting, wait till your first SIV. It's going to blow your mind, man. Totally. Yeah, that's what I needed right there. Good old dose Oh, flying adrenaline, baby. I was scared like a little baby, and now I'm the king again. Woo!
As the pilots were getting into their own groove, I thought I would try something different. I wanted to get a quick FPV flight to showcase the dynamic of some of these maneuvers.
You didn't get my reserve toss with the drone because?
It was just too intense. I couldn't handle it. My brain was just, it couldn't compute. I took off, and it wasn't in acro mode where the drone can flip 360 degrees in every direction, and it was locked in horizon mode. And I go to flipping switches because it's not in acro mode, and I disarmed the drone. And this brand new DJI FPV drone that we got for this channel just starts plummeting to the earth. But the handy dandy float definitely saved the footage that I didn't capture anyway.
Sorry, Nevada. But hey, I spent the entire morning rolling non-stop to capture this rarely seen event of a reserve toss. So let's break down what happened.
Okay, so yeah, we were doing a beeline stall. It was probably the second or third one I think I had done that morning, and the wing kind of horseshoed forward and the right side cravatted. You know, he was calling for a left brake because I was in a right-hand spiral. I was hanging on that left brake, and I did not, at this point I didn't know to reach up and try and strum the Stabilo line. So I kind of tried to work it loose with the brake, but there was just nothing there. And there was, you know, I didn't process, there was a little bit of test saturation there as to what was going on. But I tried to free it up, but really it was just hanging on and rolling out in that spiral. And then eventually he called for a reserve toss, and luckily my reserve was on the right hand side, so I didn't have to transfer brakes. I didn't have to do a whole lot of other steps to get that reserve deployed in it. You know, it came right out and opened up, and luckily all went according to plan. Yeah, I didn't wrap up the wing like I should have, because I was pretty much, you know, just at that point following instructions on the radio. I should have started to reel that in before I hit the ground. I mean, obviously I needed to kill that wing and get it, you know, so the reserve was then clear. It was a great experience because a lot was learned at that point. Oh yeah, I see it on the right hand side there.
Here we go!
Yeah, last second I was like, all right, we're going swimming again. I landed in the swamp a couple days, or a day before that, so. The instructions, you know, once I hit the water, to not swim, not panic, don't get wrapped up in the lines. Like, I was pretty calm at that point. I didn't even really have a great sense of, you know, where the ground was at when I was going down, because I was really just focused on the wing, just looking up, trying to see if that was gonna come loose.
Here we go!
Now that could be the end of the episode, but that was only day 2, and there's 3 days in this SIV course. So we start the day with the best part, breakfast, at the chalet.
Oh, yeah, my bad.
My blueberry French toast.
And there's a picture of it looking great. He sent me a picture. So the sooner we get there, the sooner we finish, which means the quicker we get the beers. Yeah, it's our third day of getting the SIV course on. Yesterday was full of 12 hours of adrenaline pumping and stressful stuff. I think we're all really worn out in a lot of ways, but we got another day, and I think the maneuvers are just going to get even more intense. So we're here, we're excited, we're nervous, but as pilots, that's what we do. We live for it, and we're stoked to be here.
Hi, my name is Andrew Fuller, and I run Skylab SIV, and we specialize in teaching paramotor pilots deflation and collapse recovery, as well as acrobatics. And when you come to an SIV, even if you're experienced, most everybody's nervous. Even when Leah and I tow on our days off, we're still nervous about what we're gonna do because you're pushing the limits. So you just kind of have to factor in all the safety that goes into it and the reason why we do it out here. But everybody, when they show up the night before, they're usually relatively nervous. The morning of, before we start the first day, everybody's terrified.
Yeah, that's what I was doing, yep.
Hey, are those radios on?
There you go. Check it.
Woo, woo-hoo! That's what happens when we leave them to their own devices. Hi, I'm Leah Catullo. To be somewhat comfortable, to get the most out of the SIV, you just have to be a good student, good listener, and we can get you through all the maneuvers. SIV for the beginner pilot is definitely all about safety. It's all about what the wing does.
So, take a wrap on those brakes, put your feet under your butt.
All right, we're recording now. We missed your last stall.
Right brake hard, hit it. Hold.
Whoa, that's cool.
Ease up 1 inch on your right hand.
Just do not do this, do not do this, do not do this. All right, you ready?
Ease up another 1/2 inch.
Wow.
Right there, hold that. Alright, so we're gonna exit, wait. Alright, now, hands up. Check surge, hands up to the funnel, hands up, watch your brake. Nice job, buddy.
This class, they've all gone a little bit beyond their comfort zone, which we like to see. We want to see people that they get to a place where they're uncomfortable, because that's what's going to happen in an event. You know, an adverse event while flying, it's going to be uncomfortable. And if we can get a little bit of a cool head out of them, there's always one guy who goes a little bit further than the rest. Paratrucker.
What's your number one takeaway, bud? Number one.
Number one is do this. Like, don't try this stuff without being over water and having someone instructing you. I've wanted to try a SAT on my own for a couple years. Like, ever since I started flying, I wanted to try a SAT, but I never did, and I waited to do it here, and I'm absolutely glad I did it here, because that was the one maneuver that actually went pretty poorly on an exit.
Alright, let's do another one. So come off that speed bar, take a wrap on your brakes, tuck your feet underneath your butt, lock that left hand onto the riser, weight shift hard right, start adding a little bit of right brake, pull to your eye, wait, hit it hard, pull, harder, hold it, pull, more if you can, you're sat and we're just trying to get it tighter, see if you can pull a little more. Hell yeah, bro, you're slowing it down, you're not losing as much altitude, great job. Alright, let's exit, so right hand up, and left, and right, hands up, woo, baby, let it out.
Whew.
Then you want to do a nice, clean exit, nice and straight. Let's go ahead and point 90 degrees to your left, we're going to do one more.
Honestly, the craziest thing I've done this whole time was that SAT with the poor exit, but these were my first SATs ever.
Feet under your butt, take a wrap on those brakes. Lock that left hand onto the riser, start weight shifting right, pull some right brake. Wait, hit it hard, pull, more. Alright, let's exit, so right hand up, and a little bit of left, just a little bit. Now right brake, hands up, let it fly.
I'm an outcast on the inside, can't seem to find my mind. Not broken, half joking, I wear this smile by design.
talk about some G's, man. That was G-force heaven.
Now everyone knows the old saying, every action has an opposite and equal reaction. And as the adrenaline wore off, Brooks started to get the side effects of that steep spiral and the excessive G-forces imposed on his body.
All right. Brooke was just pulling some serious moves, adrenaline and stuff, G-forces, and get down on the ground and get a little bit of an upset stomach going on. Hot?
No, it ain't my stomach, man.
Oh, really?
My stomach doesn't feel bad at all. It's my head. I pulled 3 G's and felt like I was gonna black out.
I hear you.
This here is a real issue in steep turns, and it's been known that in some cases, people have lost consciousness in as little as 3 G's. G-lock, or G-force induced loss of consciousness, occurs when the excessive G-forces drain blood away from the brain, causing cerebral hypoxia. Basically, the brain gets starved for oxygen.
Emotional. I'm doing everything I can not to cry about how much I've learned and how cool I am or calm I am about some of the stuff that like I thought I'd never do. The personal growth is like sort of what I'm all about right now. It's not even about the flying. It's like learning that nothing is permanent. Not even like what you think you can't do, your limitations and all that. None of that's permanent.
I'm a shadow and a savior, a ghost lost in